Welcome back to my Wise Stars channel, and welcome also to Aquarius season. In today's video, I'm going to talk about Aquarius season and why this one is particularly special because the planet Pluto is involved. I'm going to bring in Octavia Butler and her relationship to Aquarius, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about how Aquarius is related to frozen water, also known as snow. So let's start with Aquarius as a sign. Some people think Aquarius is a water sign because its symbol is the kind of wave, what looks like waves. But in fact, Aquarius is an air sign. And Aquarius is known as the water bearer. It's the one who holds water. Aquarius gives a sense of vision and perspective to that kind of raw emotional instinct and intuition. So why I bring Octavia Butler into this particular story is not only was she sort of an honorary Aquarius because she had her sun, her sense of herself and identity, right up next to the planet Uranus, which is Aquarius's modern ruler. And even though her sun was in Cancer and Uranus was in Gemini, the two together give her a very Aquarian feel. And Octavia Butler has been in the news lately because her book, it was written in 1993, called The Parable of the Sower, is a book that pretty much predicts and lays out in great detail not only the fires burning right now in Los Angeles, but also our current sort of political situation. And so many people have wondered, how could Octavia Butler have known more than 30 years in the future how things would play out? And she was using typical Aquarian style ingenuity. She was looking around her at what she perceived and giving it a sense of perspective or distance and strategizing of if everything right now stays the same on the same trajectory 20, 30 years into the future, what will that look like? And then she was bringing her vision to play. And she expressed that vision in an incredible, genius-like way in a number of books. But the one that is most significant right now is that Parable of the Sower. So if you haven't checked that out, now's a good time. So Aquarius is the one who is able to take a step back and almost get like a Hawkeye perspective and look at what is unfolding and then look ahead into the future and see how that may play out. Aquarius's relationship to snow is also an interesting one because snow is that it's crystallized unmoving water. It's water that has been frozen solid. And snow in nature actually gives nutrients to the soil. It gives nitrogen. It acts as a natural ground cover. And so there is this real purpose in nature for snow. And I see that also as a sign of Aquarius because sometimes it's important to sort of emotionally stop and disconnect and take a look at what is unfolding in the bigger picture to gain a sense of insight and to see things that may be more difficult to see when we're so involved in them in the way that emotion brings. It's hard to get perspective or distance. And Aquarius gives us that, and then it gives us the power of choice. It gives us the power of imagination. And the card that is most associated with Aquarius in the tarot is the Star card. And this is from the Mystical Moments deck. And I love this card because we see this building here that's kind of like a Taj Mahal-like building. And a woman holding kind of a fairy-like creature holding a magical wand. And keeping in mind that fairies are creatures of air. They move through air and they create magic in air. And using this card as sort of an Aquarius template, it helps us to understand that by first imagining what something might turn into, we're able to use, our magic wand and make adjustments We don't need to actually build the blueprint until the blueprint seems as if it's really going to manifest the vision that we'd like to bring into being, into life. But the magic is that place in between the actual physical manifestation of a project or a building or some kind of plan and the visualization of it. And so Aquarius season reminds us of this place in between. Now, one of the things that is really standing out about this particular Aquarius season is that the sun is conjunct Pluto right at the beginning of Aquarius season. Actually, today, the day that I'm filming this video anyway. And this particular formation of planets, this coming together of the sun in Aquarius and Pluto in Aquarius, has not happened for over 230 years. I believe the last time was 1779. And this is really significant because Pluto is the planet of deep change, transformation, revolution, death, rebirth, and the power that becomes alive when energy changes form. So when we bring birth from death or death from birth, when life changes form, there's a lot of power that's generated. And Pluto in the tarot is represented by the death card. And in this representation of the death card, there is a great deal of life that is kind of coming out from the death represented by the skeleton. So this reminds us that even in death, there is new life that can manifest. So the significance of the Sun-Pluto conjunction and it not having happened since a time in the late 1700s when the whole world was kind of popping up with revolution after revolution is that it really reminds us that vision can be changed. We've lived out a long vision of a particular way of life. And in this case, I'm coming to you from the United States. So looking at it from the United States point of view, we can see that since the American Revolution, there's been a certain template or a blueprint that's been unfolding. And this Sun conjunct Pluto era that we're moving into, because we're going to have a number of them in the next 20 years, it's going to bring up a desire to change that template, to change that blueprint. And our role as participants in the collective is to assess both for ourselves and the people that we share space with how we might want to transform that vision, how we want to use the power of our minds and the power of our conceptual understanding of the world, of our ability to create a template and then manifest it. How are we going to change that or transform it? And when Pluto is involved, there can be a sense of obsession or just over focusing. And so it's important to remember when you're dealing with Pluto by transit or in your own chart that you can hyper focus on something so that you lose perspective. And Aquarius is going to be a real ally there for reminding us to take that space or that distance and get a little breathing room when we get hyper focused or overly intense on changing the vision. The other thing to remember with Aquarius is that just like every sign, there's a pendulum shift, with the signs of the most positive, life-affirming qualities of that particular sign, and then the more challenging qualities of that sign. And with Aquarius, while Aquarius has that great ability to change and create and bring the future in, Aquarius is also a sign that can be associated with the feeling of disconnection from emotions or reality. There can be a great deal of kind of disassociation when it comes to feelings and emotions that may be traumatic or painful. a desire to just separate and cut off or shut down or you know, avoid. And while there's definitely kind of a survival quality that comes in disassociation, sometimes those feelings are just too much to handle, so we have to separate in that moment. It's important to remember to try and come back, to return, to make those synapses, so to speak, find their connections so that we can have the access to the power that's available in that painful emotion or memory that we might have had at one point. So, Aquarius' ability to disconnect can be an important survival mechanism that we need from time to time, but it's also important to come back around and find ways to connect to the painful places so that we can integrate them and accept them for part of all of us, all of who we are. And because we're looking at this also from the bigger picture, from that Aquarian kind of broader Hawkeye perspective, we're also looking at cultural or collective painful moments and emotional experiences that might have been shared by the whole group, the whole collective. So the Sun Pluto influence in Aquarius can point to painful historical or collective moments that were never fully integrated, and now might be a time that's calling for healing or reconciliation or some kind of um, sense of just wrapping that up and putting it to rest by finding a way to reconnect, to come full circle. So that's my Aquarius season message. And if you would like more stories and information on astrology, herbs, flower essences, and tarot, I hope you'll subscribe to my Wise Stars channel and keep watching.